What is up everybody?
Bentornati di nuovo sul mio canale, questa è Oprelia. Oggi esamineremo le nuove funzionalità di Elevenlabs. Iniziamo con il video.
So that's basically my greetings to you in Italian. So we're going to be talking about this AI tool today called Elevenlabs, and they have recently launched a new feature which allows you to turn video to audio, which to me is actually very impressive and very needed right now because we are seeing these new video tools basically popping out, but we obviously will be needing sound effects to these video clips to make them more immersive, or in case you're doing some types of short films or something like that, it's very nice to actually have some music or sound to come along with the clips that you generate, and that's where Elevenlabs really shines today. So let's take a bit of a dive into their platform and also other features that they basically have here currently to offer. So basically one of the things that they have already for a while is actually sound effects. So we have the ability to basically prompt out something here, like let's say a glass mug falls down and breaks. So we're able to basically do prompts here, and it will basically try to do a sound generation for that prompt. So let me look into the history of what we did earlier. So I tried to do car crash, which is a very normal sound effect, and here are some of the samples that we're just basically able to do. Now these are not exactly like perfect car crash style sounds. I mean, you can clearly hear that something is crashing in, but it seems more like a medium object, maybe a hammer falls through some type of another object, not necessarily glass or something else, and that's kind of like the sounds it was basically able to generate. So not exactly the most closest thing to a car crash, but one of the things I do like about this is that it's basically able to do 4 generations at a time. So let's go into actually on that glass thing, and let's see how it's basically able to perform here. Okay, that's actually pretty accurate. But there's not really like an echo, there's just like one chip is kind of falling off. And that's just kind of like almost... Okay, those are very, very, very small, minor sounds, and maybe it could do a better job. But let's kind of focus into this new feature, what they have now launched, and there's a free demo that anybody can basically use. And this is video, the text-to-video feature, and just like the other things we just gave a look at, you basically paste in a video, and it will basically do 4 different samples based on that. So first I wanted to try out what type of inputs it would do for my intro video. Now that kind of sounded awful, but in terms of like in the beginning of the video, it was able to kind of like reiterate those glitch type of effects that were happening, but it was able to not really stop when the glitch effects basically stopped out, so it didn't become static later on. And here's kind of the same thing, but a bit less accurate. And this one actually is a lot more closer to the real thing. It kind of stopped out once the effects stopped out, so it was able to kind of follow with the audio, with the actual video. And this one, to be honest, was totally all over the place. So let's look into the next video that I was basically trying out. So this one, what you probably remember from the previous videos, where we were trying to basically make the skeleton basically laugh. And these became quite wild. And I don't know what it is trying to do. Yeah, so these were totally off here. So this was definitely not the best example of like what exactly was going on. I mean, there wasn't really that much movement here, what exactly it should be iterate here, maybe horror type of music or something. But there are some other good examples though here, which were really accurate. So here's like a Liger thing that I also generated with Pika. So that growling actually was fairly accurate, and I think it went also very well in sync with the actual movements of the white tiger. say that actually this was turned out rather well, in my opinion, in terms of the generations. And here's another one that I thought was a really, really good success. This one was bad. So the first, third, and the fourth here was really well able to track the movements of the waves and create a really realistic sounds, in my opinion. And obviously there's some remastering here that you can always do with the music, but in my opinion, I think this video to audio improv is pretty good prompting. And then we have the last clip here, and this was, you know, it was not really able to tell what was exactly going on here, but so the gun actually doesn't shoot. I wanted to shoot, but the prompt really didn't give me that animation. It's just pointing out the gun, and the AI basically thinks that this guy is basically shooting, but no, you just only hear shooting on the background. And that's kind of funny. That's more like a 9mm sound, I guess. Okay, so I think what I'm trying to say here is that this is actually a pretty nifty tool. I don't know the current limitation of the tool is there. There's not exactly anything about like how long video clips that you can actually put here and how much it can basically put out. But since there's no limitation, since this is like a beta test and open source, you can just put out, you know, cut out your video and put it in clips in case there's going to be a limitation for the upload. And that's how you're basically going to be getting the best result, in my opinion. And obviously there are other things that this basically offers. It has like the voices that we kind of talked about in the beginning. I don't think this is actually one of these things where you can put your own voice here and then it will start to translate it into another languages. That's something that has existed. Or this might be actually the voiceover studio. It might be this one. And then there's like dubbing stuff. Actually, this is the one that I can put out my YouTube video here and it will turn it into another language. These are not the most accurate things ever, and I think it will take some time to basically to make them on the right quality they need to be, but it's really funny and also very uncanny when it tries to translate somebody's voice into another language, like, I don't know, some historical figure, like, I don't know, which you have never heard speak in that specific language, and now you can actually hear what they kind of would sound like when they would be speaking another language. But Elevenlabs, in my opinion, has a couple of really, really cool features. So in case you're interested in filmmaking and making those special effects sounds, this is definitely a good tool to do that, because there isn't really that much like free royalty sounds out there, and a lot of, you know, in case you have seen the Wilhelm screams and things like that in movies, they reuse a lot of those sounds. So it's actually really cool that you can prompt out a lot of new sounds and effects which you have not really heard before in movie industry, for example. But tell me what you think about this. Elon will be dropping out. Cheers.